What we're going to be doing today is 9-4, and that is plotting rational numbers on a coordinate plane, which is something you've already done before. It's just with integers, okay? Here is your coordinate plane. Then we are going to be able to reflect points across axes. I don't know if we'll get there today, because before we start with the coordinate plane, we're going to do a quick review of ordering and comparing rational numbers. Okay, so what I would like for you to do in your guided notes, not guided notes, in your notebook, I want you to solve these two problems. -2 3/10 compared to -2 1/4. The second problem I want you to do is order from least to greatest. 4 2/10, -1/2, -1 2/3, and 3/4. So the first one, compare these two rational numbers using greater than, less than, or equal to. And question 2, order from least to greatest. Okay, comparing -2 3/10 to -2 1/4. We cannot compare them the way they are. One is a decimal, the other is a fraction. So, Chris, what are we going to do?
We're going to divide.
Good. We're going to divide this 2 1/4. We're going to divide our fraction so that we can make it a decimal. Two ways of doing this. You can just divide the fraction part, or you can make it an improper fraction and then do the division there. Either way, you're still getting the same answer. Okay, I'm going to do just the fraction. So my house, my 1 falls down. If you build the house up here, the 9 would fall down. Okay, so I have 1, 4. 4 does not go into 1. I put my 0. I need to add a decimal point, 0. 4 goes into 10, will, 2 times, and that is 8. I get 2. I need a 0 down here after subtracting, so add another 0, bring it down. 4 goes into 20. Colin? 5 times 20. I am done dividing because after my subtraction, I have a 0. I then go up here and bring my decimal point straight up. So I am now comparing -2 3/10 to -2 25/100. What do you know is true about both numbers? Chris? Good, they are both negative. So we are looking at the number that's farther right on the number line, or, since they're both negative, the one that's closer to 0. A way I think of this, a negative, I like to think about it in money, and a negative in money means you owe someone money. Would you rather owe someone $2.30, or would you rather owe someone $2.25? Mark? Good. I'd rather owe someone $2.25 because that's closer to 0 of me owing that person no money. So it means it's closer to 0. I'll give you a number model. We have 0, -1, -2, -3. -2 1/4 falls about right here. Would -2 3/10, would that fall to the left of it or to the right of it? This is -2 1/4. Would -2 3/10 fall to the left or to the right of it? Helion? It would fall to the left. This right here, somewhere around there, would be -2 3/10. So -2 1/4 is farther right on the number line. You owe that person less, so that is great. You good with that? Okay. All right. Order from least to greatest. So our numbers should be in order, just like a number line, going from left to right. What number is the least number here? Which one is the smallest? Bryce, what do you got? Good. -1 2/3. Between what two whole numbers does -1 2/3 fall between? On a number line. Between what two whole numbers does it fall between? Skylar. Good. -2 and -1. We have -1 2/3. It would fall in between -1 and -2. There's none of these numbers are farther left than that. Okay, which one's next? And this one is a quick way to determine which one is next. Quick way to do that. Chris, what is it?
1/2.
Not 1/2.
I mean, -1/2.
Good, -1/2. How do we know quickly that that one is the next number? Look. Good, it's a negative, and the other numbers are both positive. We know that negative numbers are smaller than positive numbers. That's a quick way to do that. Okay, between what two whole numbers does -1/2 fall between? -1/2 falls between what two numbers? 0. Mark.
0
0 and
and 1.
1. 0 and Kara? There we go. -1. Good. It's here. We're going to the left to what is it? -1/2. Right here. All right. Next. What's the next number in the order? Alistair.
3/4.
3/4. And that means we are putting 4 and 2/10 as the greatest number. Between what two whole numbers does 3/4 fall between? Bryce. Perfect. 0 and 1. It's to the right of 0. And where does 4 and 2/10 fall between? To what two numbers does that fall between there? Chloe?
4 and 5.
Perfect. 4 and 5. Doing that will help you determine from left to right on a number line. You can figure out where they fall in between two whole numbers. It will be helpful. Questions? Comments? Concerns? All right. Quick review here. We did integers on a coordinate plane. This whole thing here is a coordinate plane. It's where two number lines intersect. What is this point right here called? Skylar. The origin. That's where we start when we plot points. We always start at the origin. Okay, what is this called? Chris.
X-axis.
Good. This is the x-axis. And what is this then? Mark. The y-axis. Perfect. Important thing. When you write an ordered pair where it's a number, comma, another number, in parentheses, which one always comes first? Kara. Perfect. X always comes first, then Y. A couple of ways to remember that. You have to run before you jump or dive. Okay, you need to move the ladder before you climb up. You have to walk to your elevator before you go up or down. Okay, you have to do the X first, then the Y. Okay. Next. What is this area called? Will. This is quadrant 1. What type of numbers always fall in quadrant 1? Kara. Positive. Positive. So we have to do X then Y. So it's always positive. The X is positive. The Y would be positive. So there's two there. Positive, positive. Okay? What is this area called? Quadrant 2. Nice job. And what type of numbers fall in quadrant 2, Bryce? Good. We have negative if to the left on the x-axis, comma, going up, that's positive. So always negative, then positive. Or quadrant. Alistair.
Quadrant 3.
Good. This is quadrant 3. What type of numbers fall in quadrant 3? Libby.
Negative.
Negative. Negative. Remember, it's our smiley face. Okay. And the last one, what do we have here? Mark. Quadrant 4. And what type of numbers fall? Lily? Positive. Good job. Okay, so when we solve these with rational numbers, nothing is changing. All the same stuff. We're just now graphing rational numbers. Decimals and fractions. Do you think you can handle it? Okay. I will say it does get a little bit challenging. I want to give you an example here. Okay, with rational numbers in your coordinate planes, you have to identify what the value of each line is. So I can do it over here on this one as well. That's 1, that's 2. 1, that's 2. If this were the case, what is the value of each line? Skylar, what do you think? A half. Perfect. You start at your origin, and we go to our first line. It does not have a value. So skip it. Go to your next line. It is 1. This line represents, if you go all the way up and down, it represents 1. So you go to the left of it. What is half of 1? A half. Okay, and then you have, what will this one be? 1 and 1/2. 2. And that's the y-axis. Okay, this line would be a half. This line is 1.5. Okay, do we see how it's important to know the value of each line? Okay, right, one more, then we'll go to the guidance. What would the value of each line be in this case? Start at your origin. What's the value of this line going to be, Bryce? 1/3. So if this is 1/3, that would make this 2/3. Then we have 3/3. 3/3 represents what? 1. So is it going to be thirds? Fourths. Good job. I'm glad we did that. 1/4, 2/4, or a half, 3/4, 4/4, which is 1 whole. You see that? Good? All right. All right. If we look at point P here, we need to find the ordered pair for point P. We have to go X from our horizontal, then our Y. I talked about identifying what is the value of each line. In this coordinate plane, what is the value of each line? Skylar, 1/2. Right? How we do that is start at your origin. You go to the line, there's no number, Go to the next line. It's a negative 1. So this line represents negative a half. Each line is worth a half. A half. So what would the x value of this point be? What would x equal? Relative. Negative 1 and 1/2. I would agree. We have negative a half, negative 1, negative 1, and 1/2. That's where it falls on the x-axis. Then where does it fall on the y-axis? This is where it can get confusing. You look at your origin, you go up, it's a half. You go to the next line, it's 1/2. But P falls in between a half and 1/2. So what is in between? Right in the middle of 1/2 and 1. Good. Good. It is 3/4. We have a half, 1, in between there. An easy way, I should say easy, a way to help you remember that is think about money. If you have one full dollar, okay, how many quarters do you have? Yeah, you have 4 quarters. Okay, if I have half of a dollar, how many quarters do I have? 2, that's 50 cents. It's halfway. What's in between a half of a dollar and a whole dollar? Well, 75 cents, which is how many quarters? 3 quarters. That's 3 out of the 4. Okay, the most, we're normally going to stick around halves and quarters. Okay, so that would be helpful. Question. So on your guiding notes and the board are a little different. What is the value of each line in this coordinate plane? The value of each line would be what? No. 1/2. Good. We have 0, a half, 1, 1/2, 2. 0, a half, 1, 1/2, 2. What's the value of the coordinate plane on your guided notes in the top right? What's the value of each line in the coordinate plane top right of your guided notes? Column 1/2. Okay. You do not need to use that coordinate plane to solve these points here. So let's go ahead. And the first one, let's do A together. What would the ordered pair for A be? So we're going to write the ordered pair right next to the line of label A. Where is A located on the x-axis? Chris? If you go down, bring A down to the x-axis. Each line is worth a half. So a half, 1, 1, 1/2. Okay, then where is A located on the y-axis? Alistair. Where is that 1 and 1/2? So the ordered pair for A is 1 1/2, comma 1 1/2. Good? Let's do B together. Then I'll let you try to see B. B. Which quadrant are we in? Column. Quadrant 4. What kind of numbers are in quadrant 4? Good. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. I know I have a positive number, then the second number is going to be a negative. So what is my x value for B? Where does B fall on the x-axis? Lily. Perfect. 1/2. 0, 1/2, 1. So where does B fall on the y-axis? This is where it gets a little confusing. Think back to your money. What's in between -1/2 and -1? Bryce. Not -1/2. Here is 0. Here's -1/2. What's in between -1/2 and -1? Well, -3/4. Good job correcting that. There we go. You owe someone a quarter. You owe someone a 50. You owe someone 3/4. You owe someone $1. Questions? All right. Try C and D. Write the order pairs for C and D. Go ahead and see if you can points. A for E on the coordinate plane. Okay, we have graphed A, we go over to the right 1.5, then we go up to 4. So this is point A. Okay. Someone tell me how we get to point B. Like walk me through how you get to point B. Melody.
So we go into point 3 on the x-axis, go down on the y-axis.
Okay, good. So I would say what I'm more looking for is I want you to start at the origin, go to the left 2, that's your x, then you're going to go down 2.5. So here is point. You had a good explanation. So that's kind of what I want us to do. All right, who can explain C? How, starting at the origin, how would you get to C? Chris.
You go quadrant 2.
Quadrant 2.
Go left to 1.5.
Good. So left to -1.5.
And then you go up to 1.
Good. Go up to 1.5. 0.5 is a fraction of half. All right, D. How do you get to D? How do we get to point D? Well, go to the right 1. Go down just a little bit. On your papers, this is kind of confusing. On your papers, your dot should be covering up the 1. If it's not covering up the 1, you're at 1.5. And the point should be on top of the 1. All right, and then the last one, probably the hardest that I see people make the most mistakes, is E. Okay, I'll go ahead and explain this one. E, the x value is what? Altogether, 0. Thank you, Skyler. The x value is 0, so on here we stay at 0. Then our y says 2.5, so we go up to 2.5. You should be on the y-axis. But you do not have any homework tonight.